things are interesting because I just had a bot comment on one of my last videos and made the prediction that, well, first of all, that I'm probably going to kill someone and go crazy and kill someone. But it also made the prediction that the next video that I made would be funny. And I had the idea to do this video. It's a little skit that may be humorous. So kudos to the bots. They really do understand. The algorithm understands human psychology, the human psyche, very well. But pretty sure it's wrong on every other account. Okay, so Federico Fujin, I don't know why I burp so much when I do this. Nerves, maybe? Oh, I just guzzled a bunch of. I know why. I just guzzled a bunch of lemonade. Okay, focus. Federico Fujin was interviewed by Jeffrey Mishlove, and brilliant again. Like Federico Fujin has the theory that's the closest. No one's even close to his theory. He's the closest. And I know this because his theory is the closest to my theory. Says the man who's not crazy, right? Okay, so his language is, unless I'm going nuts, right? Maybe, or just seeing things that I want to, but it seems like his language is getting more and more similar to mine, or mine is getting more similar to his, or whatever. But he was talking a lot about the Tao Te Ching, and how Taoism basically just explains all of it. Like if you understand the Tao and Taoism, then you basically got everything. So yeah, like it's kind of I made this, right, and it cost me like $1,100, and I did that a long time ago. So absolutely. So this is a video, a story about left and right. So the body mind system. So basically this is a tool with which to investigate the sensual realm. And we do that. It does that because this is dualism in a way, isn't it? This is an expression of dualism because there's obviously something going on that's like a mirror, something, there's something dual about what this system. There's a left and a right. So let's say that the purpose of this is to lift things. And my job, most of the income that I have generated, not investing, like just working, all of my jobs have been lifting heavy objects. That's what I used to do, basically, is just lift things. I pick things up and put them down. So in order to lift things, your entire body needs to be working in unison. This hand and this hand need to do the same things, right? They need to both know that they're lifting something. So if the right hand starts losing the signal for whatever reason, I don't even have to make up the reason for why it's losing the signal, that the unifying signal that makes it part of this system. it starts doing its own thing. Okay. So imagine when you're trying to lift something, if the purpose of this tool is to just lift things, pick things up and put them down somewhere else, then if this starts losing that signal and just starts doing its own thing, then this still knows the situation, right? So it counteracts, right? So the brain, let's say, is the self in this respect, let's say. And it's coordinating this signal between the left and the right, but the right is going on doing its own thing now. So now it needs to, this is fighting this, right? So now this has gotten so bad in ourselves and in our institutions, right? So I'm just going to make this leap into how and why our institutions are collapsing right now is because at the thing nothing model, like I keep coming back to this, but there's a reason why that's one of the biggest deep philosophical questions that can be asked is why is there something rather than nothing, and how does something come from nothing, right? So we have to get back. If they haven't just completely given up and no one asks those questions anymore, what if we get to the thing nothing part and see if that's the problem? So it's lost. The right hand has lost connection with the left hand, and now all of the energy, it's gotten so bad that this it all becomes counteracting, right? So this arm pulls this way while we're trying to lift, so this arm pulls back the other way to compensate, and then this, because it's not paying attention to this anymore, it's just reacting now, I guess, on instinct or whatever. It yanks back because it wants to do its own thing, and that's not it apparently. So then this one counteracts even harder, and now it becomes just a struggle between the system itself, within the system itself. So all of the energy at the beginning, when the programming or whatever was working properly, then you could lift stuff. But because something went awry, askew, now all of that energy, it doesn't function as it was designed to function anymore. All of the energy of the system goes into battling itself. You see, this is exactly what has happened with the legal system and especially the governmental system. And not as directly, but the financial system as well. It's all competition, correct? So especially the governmental system, which is the one that controls the legal system in a way, right? It's how society operates, is because we're governed. So this is obvious to me, and just because it is a simple, obvious metaphor or analog for what's going on, well, that's an indication that maybe it's absolutely right. So what's happened, so the power source, right? This is what spurred it, is that even though I've heard it 3 times before, Federico mentioned that it's not just hardware, software with the system, there's a power source as well. Right? So the power source is also that which governs. That's the source. The power source is also the source that it obviously gives it life. So when one of them has forgotten that the power source is over there, it begins to try to get its energy from the counteraction of the other thing, right? So this is, trust me, this is how the thing nothing model language has set up everything, because it's so deeply rooted in our psyche, right? Thing. Think of how often we use the word thing. And thing is like a physical object that is defined by physics. So this is what's happened. This is what's happening is that the energy, when it's a competition, whatever if that if the engine that drives the motivation for that system to continue is like the thing nothing model, then it's in constant conflict with itself, right? Nothing, in order for it to exist, is the absence of the thing. And that, right? So it's one half of the system is the non-existence of the other half of the system. That sounds like a dog chasing its tail, doesn't it? Right? So again, my model has fixed this. My model has fixed this. And so it's the Tao. It's the Tao. The power source is the Tao. And the reason why these institutions are collapsing, because all of the energy is going into just trying to beat the other half because of the language that's set up at the most fundamental level of the psyche, the thing nothing model, where it's in constant conflict with itself. This is where it all spurred. This is the seed from which all of this problem, all of the problems, the hard problem of consciousness, the mind body problem, it all comes from this, from the losing recognition of this middle column that is the observer, that is the state of superposition itself. Just, you can't comprehend it. The only and the most specific and succinct and best way, most efficient way of describing the absolute, what you are, this of all of this, is the duality. That's it. No more, no less. That's it. That's the only way. It's just, right? So you just have to accept it. And then in order to realize it, you have to be it now. You have to be it. You have to, in order to understand it any deeper, you have to realize that you are it. That's the level of understanding we're talking about now with this new investigation into the observer, is that in order to understand it any deeper, the language itself has gone as far as it possibly can. It's realized its own limitations, for fuck's sakes. But you don't want to accept it, right? Just because it's so hard to find the space between your thoughts. Well, tough shit. I keep looking at that light instead of here, and the light isn't even on. I should be looking there. Okay, well, that's it. And here's the funny part, is that in order for you to remember, like the knights who are slapped across the face when they're knighted, in order to remember, well, this is in order for you to remember. That's supposed to be the funny part.